Hello, what is up, you guys? So if I look busted, it's because I just finished filming a Pilates workout for my Pilates YouTube channel. If you would like to check it out, here it is. And I know I've been slacking. I know I told you guys I was going to be posting consistently once a week. Sorry guys, I'm out of breath. I need some water. I told you guys that I was going to start posting consistently on both of my YouTube channels, which I have a good reason for not being consistent on here and working on a 30-day Pilates challenge. And that is why it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work that goes into making the choreographies, making sure that everything flows, editing, posting, scheduling, like it's a lot. And I'm also a stay-at-home mom, so yeah. Anyways, I do want to start being more consistent on my own channel because I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like this YouTube channel is me. She is me, I am her. We are within each other. Psych. What was all that? What was all that nonsense? I don't know. But I did want to make a video talking about myself. I am, you know, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit. And before the Ruby, like if you guys would have known me before and known, like if you know me now and you knew me before, like I literally changed so much. Like before I used to care what other people thought about me and it used to affect me a lot. Now it really does not at all. Obviously sometimes some things can get to you, but in reality I feel like my frontal lobe developed obviously when I turned to 25. I just feel like I see the light. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything is starting to look so much better. But yes, I was going to plan a video and like get ready and post it and whatever, but I was like, you know what? I want real and raw footage. This is me how I am, real and raw. I literally just finished recording a video and here's me talking about me, period. Like, we love her. In all seriousness, not really, because I'm not a very serious person. Sometimes I am when I'm like annoyed or bored. I'm just like, for what? But if you guys don't follow her, you guys should go and give her a follow, give her a little sub or whatever. HRH Collection, I freaking love her. I came across clips of her on TikTok and I was like, oh my gosh, like I see so much of myself in HRH. I don't even know her real name. I'm sorry. Cheap ass fan. Just love how she's so like real and raw and just doesn't give an F about people's opinions, and she's just her true self and she shows up as herself. And if you like it, whether you like it or not, she's herself. What, like I want to be that. Like I want to stop being scared of being myself. Like I want to put myself out there and just live my best life. Not only that, but I've always wanted to be on YouTube. Literally, I kid you not, like I know that nowadays everybody and their mom, like not everybody, but you guys know what I mean, like everybody wants to be an influencer nowadays, right? Well, this wasn't like a recent thing, and I don't really mean like an influencer, just like a content creator. I don't know the difference. Please don't cancel me. My point. I had it going, you guys. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was saying that I've literally always wanted to record my day-to-day life. I wouldn't say an influencer or like a content creator. I didn't even know what that was back then. I feel like literally since I was in like elementary school, I mean, I don't know if this is like a every person kind of thing. Like, does everybody want to record themselves and post it online? I don't know, but I literally always wanted to do it since I was in elementary school. I remember, do you guys remember like those little Nintendo DS thingies? I literally had a new one like every like 2 years. Like I always had a new Nintendo DS, and if you guys remember, like you can record on there. And I remember like always recording myself and like pretending that I had like my little YouTube channel and stuff, like period. Like how did I even know that YouTube was a thing? Did I watch YouTube when I was little? I don't know, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. But I feel like because of my environment and the way that I was raised, it kind of just like I feel like I suppressed myself a lot, if that even makes any sense. I'm not very good at explaining myself, but I feel like because of the environment that I was in, I kind of suppressed myself, and I kind of like I filled my head with like negative thoughts, and that's not good for you. You know, like, you have to treat yourself like you would treat any other person, if not even better, because it's like, you're not gonna, like, let's say that somebody comes up to you and they're like, my dream is to post videos on YouTube, and you're like, you're a fucking loser. You ain't gonna do shit. Like, imagine, like, now imagine telling that to yourself. Like, that is so messed up. It's not right. You have to talk to yourself with respect. You have to be nice. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Maybe your mother, but that's besides the point. You have to believe in yourself. And I feel like I've been on TikTok for like, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, and I feel like me being on social media really helped me like accept myself and accept like who I am. I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel like I have gained so much confidence, and especially making my Pilates YouTube channel. Like, at first I was really scared, you know. I was like, what am I even doing? I was having imposter syndrome. I was like, who even am I? Like, who is this girl? Who does she think she is? You know what I mean? But I feel like now I'm a little bit more used to it, and period. Like, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me, okay? Like, nothing's gonna happen to you. Like, literally, if you are watching this video, if you have hopes and dreams for yourself, do it. And don't just think about it. You have to take action, okay? You literally have to, if you have an idea in your head, like you want to do something, write it down immediately. Like, that is something that I've learned, is that if I have an idea for something, I grab a pencil, a pen, a gel pen, whatever, and I grab a piece of paper and I write it down. That's exactly what I did for my 30-day Pilates challenge. I literally, I kid you not, it was like 12 p.m. I couldn't sleep because like I have really bad insomnia, and I was in bed sleeping like, wait, no, I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I was up thinking about sleeping. I was like, I should do a 30-day Pilates challenge. I was like, sure. So I literally got up and I wrote it down on a freaking piece of paper, and I put it in the fridge, and I put my clear whiteboard over it, and I wrote on the whiteboard like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And I did it. I took steps every single day to do what I needed to do, and it really works. So whatever your dream may be, go to college, I don't know, like whatever your dream may be, just do it. An example, the Nike logo doesn't say just try it, it says just do it, okay? And it's for a reason. So listen to Nike. Nike knows what they're talking about. Anyways, okay, so a little bit about me. So I am from a small town from Washington. It is called Tri-Cities, Washington, and it's called Tri-Cities because there's 3 cities that are like connected. And I am from the ghetto city. It's called Pasco. No offense to anybody that's from Pasco. I love you guys. Y'all are like neighbors, I guess. Were neighbors. But yes, I am from Pasco, Washington. I grew up with my mom and my dad together, and I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. So it's me. I have a sister that's like, I don't remember how old she is. We're all 5 years apart, except for the last one. She's like 10 years apart. So I'm literally like 2 decades older than my youngest sibling, which is literally insane. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for that. But yeah, so it's me, Irene, Belen, and Alexa. So those are the siblings. But my mom and dad have separated. They live in Mexico. They all live in Mexico. My dad lives in Mexico. My mom lives in Mexico with my siblings, and all my siblings live with her. So there's that. I had an alright childhood. I feel like we got not every single thing that we wanted. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we weren't like spoiled brats, but we pretty much got the stuff that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? So basically, a little bit about myself is that I grew up in Pasco, Washington. Until the age of 15. This is like a really sad story, you guys. I'm so sorry that I even have to like bring this up, but it's just a little bit about myself. I'm not gonna go on and spill all the damn tea just yet. Okay, when I was 15, my dad got pulled over. We were on our way to Silverwood. If you guys don't know Silverwood, it's a theme park in Idaho. We would go every summer. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, so my dad was driving. He got pulled over literally right outside of Silverwood. Like literally right outside the fence. We were literally looking for parking. And him and my mom got arrested. Why did my mom get arrested? I don't know. To this day. I don't know why she got arrested. She was in the passenger seat, okay? They weren't doing anything. We were literally just driving to Silverwood, but my dad is undocumented. My mom is not, well, was she undocumented? Actually, she is. No shit. So basically my parents, they are from Mexico, obviously, so they were undocumented. And so they both ended up getting arrested that day. And we were in a whole other state because we were from Washington, so we were in Idaho. And at this time I was like, how old was I? I was like 14, I think I was 14 when all of this like went down. And I remember we got put into foster care. Oh my god, I'm not trying to make this like a sad vlog, you guys. I'm so sorry for the negative energy, but yeah, so we got put in foster care. We literally were there for only a couple of hours because I took my dad's phone. Like literally, like how was I smart like that? I literally was so smart because like I remember when my parents had gotten arrested and they had took them in the car, you know, they were behind the cop car. The cops were just like, they had just told us like, oh, just like stay here, you know, whatever. And so they went and the cops were not around, but I was like, I know that they're gonna literally try to like take everything. So I see my dad's phone right there and I was like, I'm copping you, okay? I'm copping this phone. So I copped the phone and I grabbed a pen. I don't even know how, why did we have a pen in the car? I don't know, but thank God we did. So we had a pen in the car. And I don't know, did I have this phone in my memory? I had my aunt's phone in my memory, which was I don't remember if it was my dad's sister or my mom's sister's phone number. And I wrote it down on my thigh. I think I was wearing like a skirt or some shorts or something. I pulled up my shorts and I wrote it down on there. Like, bro, like I'm literally 14 years old, but I'm the oldest sibling and like I have to watch out for my siblings. So I was like, y'all got me effed up if you think something's gonna happen to me and my siblings. Like, no. So I pulled up my shorts and I wrote it down right there on my thigh. And I grabbed my dad's phone. I literally put it on silent and I put it in my back pocket. And the cop came and he's like, oh, like, you guys are gonna go to foster care. I have no idea. I have no memory of what the cops told us. I just remember that he was asking if I had anything on me. I think he asked me if I had a phone too. And I was like, no, I don't have a phone. It's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. Why would you ask me if I have a phone? Why do you care? So, that is so crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it, did they drive us to the foster house in the cop car? I think these memories are like suppressed because like I literally, it's never crossed my mind. But I think so. That's literally so sad. So, and anyways, we end up getting there. And so as soon as I get there, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I run to the bathroom. I had my aunt's phone like memorized, but I knew, I was like, it's like everything that's going on right now, I was like, I'm literally not going to remember everything that's going on right now. You know what I mean? Like I was like, and how did I even know? I was 14. How did I even know that? I can barely remember stuff right now. So I don't know. God was on my side that day. I was like, you know what? I might not remember this number later because of everything that's going on, and that's why I wrote it down. Okay, so I go to the bathroom. I call my aunt. I freaking pull up my shorts and I freaking call my aunt. I'm like, Tia, like, we're in foster care. They arrested my parents, blah, blah, blah. And my tia was like, whoa, whoa, what? What? And I remember my tia let me talk to one of my cousins. And she was like, don't worry, like, we're getting you today. And as we were talking, obviously, like, I had a lot to tell them. The foster care lady, she was like knocking on the door. She's like, hey, do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? Because like I was on the phone and they could clearly hear me. I was like, shit, they caught me. And yep, they confiscated the phone. And I remember telling my cousin, and I was like, hey, they're gonna take my phone. They're gonna take the phone. And she was like, let me talk to her. So I give her the phone, and the lady was like, she was basically, my cousin, I think my cousin or my aunt they were asking the lady, they're like, oh, like, can we go pick them up, blah blah blah. And she's like, no, you can't pick them up until her parents have a court date. And I don't know, like, I think court dates take a long time, like, it's not fast. And my cousin was like, no fucking way, they're not gonna stay there, like, they are not gonna stay there, we're gonna go pick them up. And in Idaho, we were 4 hours away from home. So my mom's sister, and it's so weird, it's like a weird coincidence that my mom's sister and my dad's sister were literally neighbors. Like, they literally lived up, like, in the same neighborhood, which is crazy. So they ended up carpooling to Idaho. They drove 4 hours. I will forever be grateful for that. I will never forget that. Crazy times, okay? Because I didn't really remember all the details until I'm like talking about it right now. I don't really talk about these things, so it's weird remembering. I do remember that in the foster care, I remember they took us into like this closet that they had, and it was like a store in there. They had all new clothes, all new shoes, like backpacks, school supplies, like a bunch of cool stuff. They let us go in there and pick out everything. When I tell you that me and each one of my sisters had bags like this big full of new stuff that we got to pick out, that was very exciting. I feel like that distracted us a little bit. And so when my aunts and my cousin picked us up, they let us take everything. Everything was new, which was pretty cool. It helped lighten the mood a little bit. We put everything in the car. We drove to the jail. I don't remember. I think I got to see my mom. I'm not sure. We ended up driving a 4-hour drive back home. Me and my siblings, my 2 aunts and my cousin. 4-hour drive home. Just literally so sad right now that I think about it. Like, we were going on vacation. Mom came home with us or not, I really don't remember how it went. I think she did, or I don't know. I'm not sure, you guys. I don't remember what ended up happening. But we ended up going home. My mom, she wasn't in jail for long. I'm telling you guys, I blocked out the memories. I don't know if my mom came home with us. Maybe she did. But basically, my dad ended up being in jail for a year because my dad had a record. I won't talk about it, but he had a record, and he ended up staying in jail for a year. And so it was like really hard that year. I remember, like, obviously, basically my mom, she wasn't a single mom, but she became a single mom, right? Because my dad wasn't there to help with the bills and stuff, so we're struggling a little bit. Thank God for our family, from my mom and my dad's side. They were helping us a lot. They would go and check up on us. Like, they were literally the best. Everybody would like help us out. Yeah, so basically after that year, my dad was not going to be able to come back to the United States. So my dad was like, oh, like, you guys should just come over here, like, we can live in Mexico. So my mom followed him to Mexico, and obviously she had to take us. And fun fact, I was planning to run away. I literally just did not want to go to Mexico. I had never been to Mexico in my entire life, and I was just like, how are you gonna take me to a country that I've never been in my entire life? Like, I barely even knew Spanish. Like, don't get me wrong, I knew Spanish, but I couldn't like keep a conversation, like, you know. And I was just like, I can't, like, I don't want to do this. But of course, I was underage. I was 15 years old, and there was nothing that I could do. There was really nothing that I could do. Like, so I literally talked to one of my teachers at school, and I was like, what can I do? Like, my mom's gonna take me to Mexico. Like, I don't want to go. Like, I want to keep going to school. Fun fact also, I was planning on either being like an orthodontist or an attorney. That was literally my dream. I wanted to be one of those two. I really, really bad wanted to be a lawyer. To this day, I still want to be a lawyer, and I'm thinking about it. I'm considering it. But yeah, so I remember, like, I was trying to emancipate myself, but basically to emancipate yourself, you have to prove to the judge that you can pay your own bills and sustain yourself. And I was like, yeah, I've never had a job. I don't know how to work. I don't know how to do none of that stuff. I wasn't able to. And I remember my mom telling me, she's like, and you better not run away. And I'm like, damn, like, how does she know? Like, how does she know these things? I'm like, did my teacher tell her? I don't think so, but I don't know. But yeah, so basically we ended up moving to Mexico. We rented out our house to like one of my cousins, and we ended up going to Mexico. It was like, I think, how many years did I spend in Mexico? I lived in Mexico for 4 years. When we crossed the border, I remember like thinking in my head, I was like, there is no way. I was like, there's no way that the signs are literally in Spanish. I was like, my brain couldn't comprehend that the signs were gonna be in Spanish. Like, I was like, no, like the signs are gonna be in English. Like, I was like, if they're in Spanish, how are people gonna read the signs? No shit, Sherlock. Well, it's Mexico. People can read in Spanish in Mexico. But anyways, I remember seeing the very first sign when we got into Mexico, and it was in Spanish. It was indeed in Spanish. And I was like, I was so shook. I was like, oh my God, the signs are really in Spanish. And so yeah, like we lived in Michoacan, because that is where both my parents are from. They are from Michoacan, Mexico. And we ended up living with my dad's grandma. Yeah, so she was my great grandma, and it was my dad's grandma. It'd be really hard for us to adjust because my dad has a lot of mental health issues. So it was just really, really hard, and we did not live the best life, let me tell you that. Literally everything went downhill from there. It was not good. And I'm not gonna lie, during that time I did start heavily drinking a lot because I felt stuck and I felt trapped. I wanted to come back to the United States. I wanted to go to school. Like, in that time, at that age, all I wanted to do was go to school. And fun fact also, I was going to graduate from school and college at the same time. That was my plan. At 4.0 GPA, I was well behaved. Like, all I wanted was to get my education. And it was something that was robbed from me at that moment. And I literally had nobody that I could come over here and live with. So I started heavily drinking because I feel like my whole life just went downhill. And if you don't know, in Mexico, literally you can send your 5-year-old to go buy you alcohol and they will sell it to them. Alcohol, cigarettes, whatever. Like, everything over there is so accessible. Like, you don't have to be a certain age to purchase something. Like, I've seen 8-year-olds driving. Like, it's not like the States. It's very different. And I just remember I just like started like partying a lot. I was just partying left and right, and I obviously ended up learning Spanish like very well. I learned very well Spanish. Learning like Spanish, and I did make a lot of friends over there, but I wouldn't say they were good influences, okay? I had a friend. So basically I ended up getting a job at a pharmacy called Farmacia Iraíz, and I remember I was working for a doctor. It was like a private pharmacy, so like the pharmacy was built into the doctor's house, and the doctor had a wife and he had 3 kids. 2, the daughter and the son, were also doctors, and then the other son was an accountant. As I worked with these people that were literally like doctors and stuff, they spoke proper Spanish, and my family doesn't speak proper Spanish. They speak the ghetto Spanish, okay? And because I was around, I would hang around a lot of people, like, you know, I would hang out around a lot of lawyers, doctors, and people that, you know, were professionals. So I learned proper Spanish as well. And the good thing about that is that people in Mexico, like, if you go to college, you are forced to learn English. Like, you're forced to learn it. So it really helped me a lot, because when I started working at the pharmacy, the doctor and his family knew English. So I didn't really know too much Spanish. Like, I could understand it, but like speaking it, I wasn't good at. So it was really cool because I would speak to the doctor. If I didn't know how to say something, I would just talk to them in English, and the doctor would be like, oh, so you're trying to say this. So that's basically what happened. I started working there. I think I worked there for 2 whole years. Like, I was doing really well there. The doctor and his family were really, really nice. They would literally feed me. They would invite me over to their parties. They treated me like family. They really treated me like family. So great at home. I don't have the best relationship with my parents, so we'll leave it at that. I don't have the best relationship with my parents. I do have a better relationship with, hold on, what did I do? I do have a better relationship with my mom than I do with my dad, but I felt like, I just felt very welcome with the doctor and his wife and his family, and they always treated me so well. Ever since I started working there, Patty was the doctor's wife's name. I remember we used to always talk. I remember sometimes we would even like go to the, it's basically like a farmer's market in Mexico. They call it a mercado. So it's a farmer's market. So she would go every morning because in Mexico, like you don't like store stuff in your fridge. You literally buy what you need like day by day. So she would go to the farmer's market pretty often. And she would always tell me, you want to come with me to the farmer's market? You want to come with me to the store? You want to come with me here? And I'd be like, yeah. So the doctor would like take over the pharmacy and we would walk together and we would always like talk and like we were just like good like pals, you know? And so ever since I started working there, she would always talk to me about her granddaughter named Kimberly. Kimberly was in Houston, Texas. I did not know this girl, obviously. She would just talk to me about her. She was like, oh yeah, like she's my nieta, she's my granddaughter, and this and that. And I remember whenever we would walk together, like people would be like, oh, your granddaughter Kimberly's back. Like me, like they thought I was Kim, because me and Kim are like, I think I'm 1 year older than Kimberly, so people thought that I was Kim. And I would hear her name all the time. Kim this, Kim that, you know, because like people knew who she was in Mexico, but obviously she lives in Houston, Texas with her mom at that time. And I remember one day Patty came into the pharmacy and she's like, guess what? And I'm like, what? She's like, Kimberly is having issues with her mom, so she's gonna come and live with us. Y'all, when she freaking told me that, y'all don't understand how freaking excited I was, because I was like, no fucking way. Like, no way. I've been hearing about this Kim that this whole time. Obviously, she's from Houston, so I was like, she's from the States like me. Like, she speaks English. Because it's like, there's nothing wrong with like making friends in Mexico and stuff, but the thing is that English is my first language, so I feel the most comfortable, obviously, speaking in English. I was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna have somebody to speak to in English. Like, I literally was so excited. And I just remember being so excited for her to come, and then she was like, oh yeah, she's gonna come this day, whatever. And I'm all excited as shit, right? I'm like, oh my god, like, you know? So fast forward to the day that she gets there. They went to the airport to go pick her up. I remember when she walked in, she was wearing like a sweater type shirt. I think she was wearing jeans too, or leggings, I can't remember. When she walked in, I remember like looking at her and like we locked eyes, because she knew who I was and I know who she was, because the doctor and his wife would talk about me obviously to her, because they'd be like, oh, like a girl that's from the States just like you is working for us and she's literally your age, whatever. And so we knew each other, so we were both excited to meet each other. Crazy, this is just crazy. But I remember I saw her, I looked at her and she looked at me, and like we smiled at each other. And I just remember thinking that she was like really, really skinny. Like, not in a bad way, I'm not being judgmental, but it just seemed like she wasn't doing okay, if you know what I mean. Literally, we like looked at each other, we're like, oh, hi. And I remember Patty was like looking at both of us like, ah, you know? And I just remember we were just awkward. Like, I think she was like, hola. No, yeah, she said it in Spanish. She was like, hola. I was like, hola. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. I'm like, do you speak English? She's like, yeah, you do too. I was like, yeah. You guys, after I said that, both of our faces like lit up and we just started fucking yapping. We literally were yapping for so long. It was all three of us sitting in like chairs, and Patty was like right there, like basically like it was us two right here, and then Patty was like right here, and we were all together like having a conversation. But like me and her just could not stop yapping. Like we were just talking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like we just kept freaking yapping in English, and we were talking in English, and Patty was just like, the doctor's the one that knew better Spanish, because Patty, she was just like his wife. Like she didn't like go to school for like to learn English and stuff, so she knew a little bit. But like the thing is that if you would talk too fast in English, which obviously we talk fast, you know, she couldn't understand everything that we were saying. So she was just kind of there like, and we literally became best friends. Like ever since that day, we became best friends. She ended up going to school there in Mexico for a little bit, to the high school there. I can't remember how long she was living there. I think it was like 2 years that she lived with them, and she went to the high school. And I remember she would get off of school every day, she would walk home, and like we would talk to each other, we would hang out for a little bit. And yeah, basically since then we became the bestest of friends. And then she ended up moving. She ended up moving back to the States, and I just remember being so sad. It was like so sad to me because I was like, no, like my bestie's moving, like it made me so sad. And so basically after she moved, I ended up quitting at that pharmacy. I don't remember why. I really can't remember why, but I ended up quitting in that pharmacy. And then I started working at another pharmacy that was like a big pharmacy. There's like a lot of those in Mexico. I started working there, and Kim would start visiting every December. So a lot of people go to Mexico in December. So basically she would go every single December, and she would visit, and every time she would come, like we would go, like she would do my makeup, and like we'd take pictures, and we'd go out, and we'd like have so much fun. After that, like I was just working, doing the same thing, just working at a pharmacy, partying after work, pharmacy, partying after work, pharmacy, partying after work. There was really nothing else that I could do, you know? I remember one random day, I was in the living room with my parents, and I get a DM, and it's Kim. And she tells me, do you want to come live with me in Houston? You guys, it is insane to me because this text message changed the entire like trajectory of my life. Like it just changed everything, because literally ever since I entered Mexico, I just wanted to go back to the States, but I had no money and I had no help. Nobody from my family wanted to help me, which is understandable. It's fine. I'm not their kid. I'm not their responsibility. It's fine. I just remember when she told me that, I was just so freaking excited. I was like, no way. And I was like, but I don't have like money to pay for a plane ticket, whatever. She's like, oh, don't worry, like my uncle's gonna go like drive over there to Michoacan, and if you want, like if you can't save up money within a month, you can come with him for free. And I was like, no freaking way. But I did end up scraping up some money, so I saved up for a whole month. I saved up all of my money so I could pay for a plane ticket, which, if I remember correctly, the plane ticket was 28,000 pesos. Let's see how much that is in dollars. $1,400. Oh my god. That's literally insane. I don't think, it couldn't have been that much. I don't know, but it was a lot of money. Like a lot. And you guys, like I was poor. Like I was in Mexico, you don't get paid a lot. Like I was literally working at a pharmacy, and like I barely even had money to like buy clothes and stuff. Like everything over there is just so expensive. Remember, I did everything that I could to save up my money. I even started selling some of my stuff. And I found out that when I was putting in my 2 weeks notice, they told me that like if you work a certain amount of time, they give you like a check for like working with them, right? So I ended up getting like a little bit of extra cash from that little, like I don't know what it was, like that little extra cash for like working with them. And it literally helped me to be able to save up just enough for the taxi and for the plane ticket, because it was a 2-hour drive to the Guadalajara airport, and then obviously from there I had to get on the plane. The taxi itself was 1,000 pesos, which is a lot. It's a lot. And so it's basically like $100, but I mean it's different when you're working in Mexico and making literally like not much money, you know what I mean? So I ended up saving the money to go and go to the airport. And I remember, because my dad's dad also lives in Mexico, I remember it was a day before I was gonna leave, and he came to visit to like say goodbye and stuff. And I remember, because my grandpa, he does go, but he does have, you know, he's documented, so that's what you call it. I think he's a US citizen, so he would travel back and forth. And I remember he was like, I don't have much right now, but I am gonna give you this because I know that you're gonna need it. This grandpa, I met him when I was way older. I met him when I was like maybe like 12, 13 years old. I thought that my grandma's husband now was my real grandpa. I didn't know that he was my step grandpa. To this day, I still call him grandpa. My parents never told me that that wasn't my real grandpa. That was never a conversation in our household. I remember when I met my real grandpa when I was 13, I was shook. I was like, why does that man look exactly like my dad? But yeah, basically it was that grandpa. So that grandpa had never done anything for me before. Like, you know, we weren't really close like that. He would just visit here and there. and he gave me $60, but in like US dollars. He didn't give me pesos, he gave me 60 US dollars. And I just remember feeling so freaking relieved. So relieved, because when I tell you that I had no extra cash to travel with, like nothing, I had just barely scraped by to get money for the ticket, the plane ticket, and the taxi. I remember feeling so relieved that he gave me those $60. And fast forward, I end up going to the airport, whatever. I remember when I got to the airport, I don't know why, I don't even remember what it was, but because I'm a US citizen and I was traveling from Mexico to the US, I had to buy something. I don't know what it was, but it was like a piece of paper that I was forced to buy. When I tell you, the price of that paper that I had to buy was almost the whole amount. It was like $40. It was like $40. And I remember thinking, if my grandpa would not have given me those $60, I would not have gotten on that plane. It's insane. I can't even believe it to this day. I wouldn't even have had money to go back, which is insane to me. I can't even believe that crap. Like, I just can't. I ended up having like $20 left over after that. But I just remember feeling so relieved, because I'm like, I am finally getting out of here. I'm finally going back home. Like, obviously not to my home, but to me, the States is obviously home. I landed in the Houston airport, and I remember I was looking outside of the airport, because like they have like a big glass window and you can see the freeway. And I just remember standing there and just taking it all in, and I was just so freaking happy. And also too, Pasco is a very small town, so oh my god, I've been talking for 40 minutes. So yeah, Pasco is a very small town. So I remember when I looked out that glass window and I seen Houston, I was like, holy freaking crap, this place is huge. And I had always wanted to live in a big city, so I was like, this is my time, baby, this is my time. I ended up moving into an apartment with Kim, and she had a roommate that was her best friend also at that time. Her name is Odalis. We became like really good friends. Literally, we were just living life. We were literally just like, we were young, you know, we were all basically the same age. I think I was like older than them by like 1 year. I think Odalis was older than me also by 1 year, but we're all basically the same age. We all worked in the same spot. I literally got a job that same day at a sports bar named El Refu. If you are from Texas, you know that that bar is very well known. I got a job at the bar that same exact day. And oh no, Kim didn't work at El Refu at that time. She worked at a seafood place. But me and Odalis were working there at El Refu. And I literally made so many friends. I met so many people. I had the time of my life in Houston. It was literally the best year of my entire life. I lived in Houston for like a year and like a month, like exactly. Or no, a year and like 2 months I lived in Houston. But I am a very impulsive person. Something went down, which I am not gonna get into it because I'm not sure if I'm ready to get into that. But very bad things went down. Basically had to cut off Kimberly. We're no longer friends because of something that went down. And another thing that went down, literally everything just went downhill. Like, I can't even talk about it, but something happened that made things go downhill. And yeah, so me and Kim are no longer friends anymore, which to this day, it breaks my heart in a million pieces. For me, when I have like a friendship breakup, I think it hurts me more than having a regular guy breakup, because it's just different. It's just very different. And to this day, I miss her so much. I still have her number. I still have her number in my phone. I can't believe she hasn't changed it, but I don't delete my contacts. I literally have my contacts on my phone for literally like forever. I don't even look at my contacts. So that's why I still have her number. And lately I've just been tempted to text her, because it really breaks my heart, and I feel like there was a lot of miscommunication because we were so young and because we were so reckless and young. I feel like that's why things kind of went left. Also, I do feel like Kim was a lot more mature than I was. I was very immature, and I feel like that was also something that kind of made us drift apart, because Kim had to mature from a very young age. I did not, on the other hand. So I was very childish, I'm gonna admit it, and that obviously, you know, things happened. But I really hope that one day we can reconnect, because I didn't see her as a friend. I literally saw her as a sister. I saw her as my sister, as like my literal, I would see her as like my soulmate sister, if that makes sense. I'm not even close to my real siblings. I was literally way closer to her than any of my real siblings. I really don't like have a good relationship with siblings, because I mean, they live in Mexico, and with my other sister, the one that's like 5 years younger than me, I had to cut her off last summer. I won't get into it, but I no longer talk to her, I no longer speak to her. But like I said, I was way closer to Kimberly than I was to any of my siblings, and I've never had a relationship like I've had with Kimberly, and it breaks my heart, it breaks my freaking soul. And I really hope that one day we can fix things, because there's nothing in this world that would make me happier than to fix things and mend our relationship. Hopefully, maybe in the future, I don't know. I also had another best friend that I met at the bar at El Refu. Her name is Stephanie, but we would call her Chiquis. That's her nickname. She was also my other half, like she was my bestie. We don't really talk anymore, but I would also have a good friendship with her again. It's kind of hard because we live in different states, but we'll see. Basically besties as well. And so yeah, basically after I decided that I was going to move from Houston because of the stuff that went down, I ended up moving back to my hometown, which is Pasco, like I said. I ended up living with one of my tios. His name is Luis. So I ended up living with my tio Luis. Shout out to my uncle, period. Shout out to my tio Luis and his wife, my tia Chuya. I lived there for about a year, and my aunt got me a job at a food processing plant that's called Twin City Foods. I hated that job. Well, I didn't hate it at the moment. Now looking back, I hate that job. You couldn't pay me to go back. It's a very toxic environment working in food processing plants, and I don't recommend it to anybody. Obviously, like, you have to do what you have to do, but it's just a very toxic environment. But anyways, I ended up meeting my now father of my child. His name is Ivan. I met him there, and basically I remember he seen me one day and he was like, hey, I like your mask, because this was COVID time. He was like, hey, I like your mask. I was like, thanks. And he's like, what's your name? I was like, oh, Ruby. And he's like, let me get your Snapchat or something. And so yeah, I ended up giving him my Snapchat, or no, he's like, let me write it down for you. So he wrote it down on a piece of paper, he gave it to me. And basically, I think 2 weeks after that, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I remember being like a little bit taken aback. I was like, that was fast. 2 weeks? That was insane. But yeah, he told me that he wanted to be with me, so I was like, yes. And you know, he's 6'1", baby. I think I was gonna say no on that. No, I said yes. He asked me to move in with him at his mom's house, and he lives in Oregon. But basically, I know it's weird to understand, because like where we worked in Pasco, it was 1 hour away from where he lived. It was 1 hour away from Oregon. But he literally lived like, this is like the end of Oregon. He literally lived right there. So he would drive 1 hour to Pasco, Washington to go to work. And I basically moved in with him to his mom's house in Oregon. And we've been together ever since. We have a toddler. We ended up having a toddler. 3 months into dating, I got pregnant, which is insane. And y'all are not even gonna believe this. Y'all are literally not gonna believe this. I was on birth control for like 4 years. I removed it, right? I got pregnant 3 days later. I didn't even get a period. I kid you not. 3 days after I took it out, I got pregnant. So I ended up finding out 2 months later, and yeah, we had a daughter. Her name is Brielle. I love her to death. I will start showing her more on my vlogs. Yeah, so we ended up having Brielle, and basically we were living at his mom's house, then we got our own apartment, then we moved back to Washington. We ended up getting an apartment at West Richland, Washington. After that, we decided we wanted to move to Arizona because Washington and Oregon as well, like, there's nothing to do there. It's literally a small, boring town. They're both small, boring towns. So we ended up moving to Arizona. We've literally been here since April. We moved here around like April 14th, which is a week before my birthday. And yeah, we've been living in Arizona ever since. I started doing TikTok. I got certified in Pilates, and basically now here we are. That is literally my life story. That was fast. That was fast. And it took me 1 hour to explain my whole entire life story, which is literally insane. And I literally don't even have time to go get my steps in anymore. So I think right now I'm just gonna edit my Pilates video because I don't even have time, but your girl needs to do cardio. I need to stop slacking. But that is basically my whole life story, you guys. I am contemplating a little bit posting this because the downside about social media is that people that you no longer have in your life can still look you up and see what you're doing. Because I have a lot of people that are some haters on some real stuff. You have made it this far, period. Thank you. But yeah, I will be back next week with a new video. I want to do a bunch of like challenges. I also want to do educational videos. I'm gonna do the whole 9, okay? I'm gonna do it all on this channel. This channel's not just gonna be about vlogs and just my life. It's gonna be about a lot of things, okay? I also want to incorporate fashion and beauty and makeup and everything because I'm a girly girl. I'm a girly girl. So what you guys want to see for the future, for vlogs, beauty tips, vlog ideas. If you guys have any ideas or anything or any questions that you want to ask me, if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. I will answer them either in the comments or in another video. We shall see. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all with my entire whole heart. I love you guys. And I will see you guys next week. Make sure you give this video a like. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Turn on the bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of this awesomeness. Bye.